The first light of dawn spills over the horizon, igniting the Grand Canyon in a blaze of crimson, amber, and molten gold. The steep cliffs, carved over millions of years by the relentless hand of the Colorado River, glow as if the rocks themselves were on fire. Shadows stretch like ghostly fingers into the depths of the canyon, highlighting every ridge, every crevice, every ancient scar of stone that whispers of past eons. A gust of wind sweeps through the towering rock formations, scattering fine dust that dances in the early light. The canyon answers with a low rumbling echo, a voice of the earth itself, bouncing and twisting through the labyrinthine walls. High above, a pair of golden eagles glides effortlessly, wings outstretched against the blazing sky. Their sharp eyes scan the terrain below, alert to movement, to life, to the subtle tremors of a world that thrives in both beauty and danger. A shadow passes silently, larger than the morning itself. California condors, relics of an ancient era, drift on invisible currents of air, their black wings marked by white feathers underneath. They are both majestic and ominous, a reminder that survival here demands both grace and strength. Closer to the canyon walls, a group of desert bighorn sheep navigates the precarious cliffs with astonishing agility. Muscles ripple beneath tawny coats as they leap from ledge to ledge, hooves gripping vertical rock with almost supernatural precision. Each movement is a calculation, a gamble against gravity, an affirmation of life that clings fiercely to this rugged terrain. Below, a sudden gust of wind sends a cloud of dust spiraling through the chasms, a warning that the canyon is as unforgiving as it is magnificent. The sun rises higher, piercing the haze with golden rays that ignite hidden corners of the landscape. Jagged spires and natural bridges emerge from the shadows, monuments of stone rising from the canyon floor like ancient citadels. The river, far below, glimmers like a silver ribbon winding tirelessly through the heart of this vast wilderness, marking its path with a patience only time itself can impose. Everywhere, the canyon teems with unseen life, small creatures darting across sun-scorched rock, lizards basking in the heat, birds fluttering among precarious perches, all part of an intricate dance of survival. The wind carries their sounds, the cries of the wild amplified by the canyon's echoing corridors. Danger and beauty intertwine here. Every step, every flight, every heartbeat is a testament to the harsh perfection of this desert world. This is a place of extremes, a world where sky meets stone, where life clings against impossible odds, and where the wild is not only seen but felt, reverberating through the very air. Welcome to the Grand Canyon, North America's wildest desert. Beneath the towering walls of the Grand Canyon, the Colorado River carves an unrelenting path, winding through the heart of this immense chasm. For millions of years, water and time have conspired in a slow, relentless dance, sculpting cliffs, terraces, and deep gorges into stubborn rock. Each layer tells a story, rocks compressed and folded under pressures that defy imagination, fossilized remains of ancient seas, deserts, and forests. From the distant rim to the river's edge, the strata glow in shades of red, ochre, and gold, a visual chronicle of eons etched in stone. Close views reveal jagged cliffs, their edges sharp enough to cut the horizon, with shadows gathering in hidden cracks. Sunlight plays across the canyon walls, highlighting textures worn by wind, rain, and occasional storms. In certain places, the river narrows into turbulent rapids, water crashing over rocks with a ferocity that echoes the canyon's own wild heartbeat. Elsewhere, it widens, a serene ribbon reflecting both sky and cliffs, sustaining the parched desert that surrounds it. Plateaus rise above the canyon, flat expanses of sun-scorched stone and hardy vegetation, where coyotes and bighorn sheep traverse paths worn over centuries. The canyon floor is cooler, a hidden sanctuary where moisture collects, creating pockets of riparian life. Here, cottonwoods sway along the banks, frogs leap into shaded pools, and birds flit among reeds, all dependent on the river's lifeblood. Each microclimate, from arid plateaus to damp recesses, nurtures its own unique community of species, shaping behaviors in subtle yet crucial ways. On the vertical cliff faces, desert bighorn sheep move with careful precision, following ledges formed by ancient landslides and erosion. Predators use the natural contours to stalk their prey, taking advantage of shadows and vantage points to hunt unseen. Birds of prey circle above, the thermal currents created by rising heat carrying them effortlessly across vast distances, allowing them to scan the canyon floor for movement. Even small rodents traverse tunnels and rock crevices, avoiding the intense sun above while taking advantage of pockets of shade and moisture. Geology is not static. Flash floods sweep through narrow channels, displacing rocks and reshaping riverbanks overnight. Wind erodes the canyon walls, carrying sand and dust across the plateaus, altering surfaces that animals rely on for camouflage and hunting. Temperature gradients between the rim and the bottom create constant microclimatic shifts, dictating when and where creatures emerge, rest, and feed. Every stone, every ripple in the river, every shadow is part of a living, pulsing system that dictates the rhythm of life in this extreme environment. The Grand Canyon is more than a spectacle of stone. It is a stage where nature orchestrates survival. Its cliffs, plateaus, and river corridors dictate not only where life exists, but how it thrives. The slow and relentless power of water and time has shaped an ecosystem unlike any other, a land of extremes, of breathtaking vistas and hidden refuges, where geology and life are inseparably intertwined. The Grand Canyon is a land of extremes, and nowhere is this more evident than in the eternal dance between predator and prey. On sun-scorched cliffs and arid plateaus, life flourishes, but survival demands cunning, strength, and constant vigilance. High above the canyon floor, the cougar moves like a shadow across the jagged terrain. With muscles taut beneath tawny fur, it slips silently over rocky ledges, paws soft on stone, eyes gleaming with a predatory intelligence honed over millennia. Every movement is calculated, the slight flick of the tail, the crouched posture of its body, the tremor of whiskers detecting air currents. Its senses are extraordinarily sharp. It hears the faint crunch of a desert bighorn sheep grazing far below, sees the slightest glint of sunlight reflected in the alert eyes of a mule deer. Closer to the canyon walls, the bobcat waits, ears erect, watching a rock squirrel scurry across the sun-baked stone. Its short, powerful body is built for bursts of explosive speed, each leap a precise negotiation with gravity. Coyotes, meanwhile, roam in packs, their sharp howls echoing through the cliffs, signaling strategy and coordination. Opportunistic and clever, they stalk, surround, and pursue with endurance and teamwork, a living embodiment of the canyon's harsh rules. The rattlesnake lies coiled among the rocks, invisible except for the faint warning of its segmented tail. Patient and lethal, it waits for an unsuspecting rabbit or mouse to come within striking distance. In an instant, the strike is as fast as lightning, venom coursing through the prey before it even knows danger is near. Its camouflage is nearly perfect. Sand-colored scales blend with stone and dust, teaching that in the canyon, invisibility is survival. Prey species are equally adapted to this unforgiving environment. desert bighorn sheep-scale vertical cliffs, hooves gripping narrow ledges with a precision born of instinct and practice. Mule deer move cautiously along canyon plateaus, pausing frequently to scan for predators, nostrils flared and ears swiveling to catch the slightest sound. Rock squirrels and rabbits rely on speed, zigzagging across open terrain, darting into hidden burrows when danger approaches. A sudden movement triggers a chase. In slow motion, a cougar leaps from its hiding place, powerful legs propelling it toward a startled sheep. Dust bursts beneath hooves as the sheep springs to safety, muscles straining and eyes wide with primal terror. Coyotes weave among the rocks, surrounding a rabbit in a relentless pursuit. Tongues out and bodies bending like living bows of determination. Each predator is a master of strategy, each prey species a student of survival, each encounter a lesson in tension, risk, and the raw poetry of life in the wild. In this desert wilderness, the stakes are relentless. Predators hunt not for sport, but for sustenance, and prey survive not by luck, but by adaptation, speed, and vigilance. The Grand Canyon is a theater where life and death unfold in slow, breathtaking detail, and every sound, every shadow, every movement tells a story of resilience against impossible odds. Above the vertiginous cliffs of the Grand Canyon, the sky is alive with movement, a theater where the feathered masters of the air command the currents. California condors, ancient giants of great wingspan, glide effortlessly on invisible thermal currents. Their black feathers gleam with white patterns underneath, catching the first rays of the sun as they soar over the abyss, scanning the desert floor for signs of life. With eyes sharp enough to detect a carcass from miles away, they embody patience and power, the rulers of the canyon's airspace. Peregrine falcons cut through the sky with breathtaking speed, embodiments of precision. With muscles taut beneath aerodynamic plumage, they dive in near vertical stoops, wings tucked, accelerating to over 200 miles per hour in a devastating strike on unsuspecting prey. Their talons extend, slicing through the air with surgical accuracy, each movement choreographed to perfection by evolution. Even from above, the falcon anticipates the slightest movement of a rock squirrel or bird below, a predator both relentless and elegant. Red-tailed hawks patrol the canyon edges with measured routes. Circling on wide thermals, their keen eyes detect movement across sunlit plateaus. When prey appears, they pivot, tilting their wings with grace, descending in controlled arcs to seize it. Their calls echo along the cliffs, a territorial declaration that travels through the canyon walls. Smaller birds add vitality and nuance to the aerial tableau. Canyon wrens flutter along rock walls, their melodious songs bouncing through resonant stone corridors. Swifts dart with astonishing agility, zigzagging between rock formations, feeding on clouds of insects rising from the canyon floor. Tiny hummingbirds hover near desert flowers, wings beating so fast they become invisible arcs, sipping nectar with delicate precision, a reminder that even the smallest creatures must master the skies to survive here. Flight in the canyon is both an art and a necessity. Birds use thermal currents rising from sun-heated rock to glide with minimal effort, conserving energy in a landscape where sustenance is scarce. Courtship is a display of both skill and beauty. Condors perform slow, deliberate aerial dances. Falcons execute twisting acrobatic dives to demonstrate agility. And smaller songbirds accompany their displays with song and intricate flight patterns, each maneuver designed to attract mates and establish dominance. From dizzying heights to the river below, the canyon's avian inhabitants are finely attuned to the rhythms of wind, temperature, and terrain. Predators and prey alike take to the air when cliffs and plateaus dictate, hunting, escaping, and courting with an elegance born of necessity. Every glide, dive, and hover tells a story of adaptation, survival, and the relentless precision required to thrive in the Grand Canyon's vertical world. Here, in the endless expanse between rim and river, the sky belongs to those who dare to master it, a realm where life takes flight in both power and poetry. Beneath the scorching sun and among the jagged rocks of the Grand Canyon, an unseen world thrives, a world of silent hunters and patient predators, where scales, claws, and venom dictate life and death. The desert floor is full of movement, though it is subtle, almost imperceptible, requiring keen eyes to detect the glint of sunlight on a snake's scales or the shadow of a tarantula gliding across the sand. A rattlesnake coils among sun-scorched stones, its patterned scales blending perfectly with the ochre rock. Every muscle tenses, a living spring poised to strike. The snake's tongue flicks repeatedly, tasting the air, sensing the slightest vibrations of nearby prey. When a small rodent ventures too close, the strike is instantaneous, venom is injected with precision, the prey is immobilized before it can escape. The rattling serves both as a warning and as camouflage, vibrating in the wind like a ghostly signal, invisible until danger is imminent. Lizards scurry over sun-warmed rocks, their agile bodies catching the light as they dart between shadows. Some flatten themselves against the stone, blending perfectly with the striated surfaces, waiting to ambush insects that come too close. Their tongues flash, capturing flies, ants, and beetles with practiced efficiency. Every movement is a dance of survival, a balance between exposure to predators and the need for sustenance. In the shadows of the crevices, tarantulas lurk, hairy, imposing, yet surprisingly methodical. They wait for vibrations in the sand, sensing every step of a passing beetle or small lizard. When the moment comes, legs lunge forward, claws seize the prey, fangs inject a venom that liquefies the captured meal. Nearby, scorpions patrol with unsettling and deliberate steps, pincers open, tail arched high, ready to strike at both food and threat. Their venom, a potent mixture of chemicals, is a reminder that in this desert, size does not guarantee dominance. While predators hunt, prey, adapt, rock squirrels pause mid-step, ears twitching, scanning for movement. Desert mice dart into tunnels and burrows, disappearing as quickly as they appear. Rabbits move cautiously across the open sand, ears erect, noses trembling, relying on agility and instinct to survive the hidden dangers lurking in every shadow and ray of sunlight. The interaction between predator and prey is constant, subtle, and fascinating. The gleaming scales of a snake, the hurried shadow of a tarantula, the swift flash of a lizard, all form a web of tension, of anticipation, of survival finely tuned to the rhythms of the desert. Each creature is a specialist, perfectly adapted to a landscape that punishes recklessness and rewards caution, patience, and speed. In the Grand Canyon, danger is not always visible, and survival is never guaranteed. Camouflage, venom, and stealth are the currency of life, exchanged with silent and lethal precision. Here, in the heat, dust, and shadow, the hidden world thrives, reminding us that even the smallest, slowest, or most discreet creature may hold the power to dominate, escape, or endure in one of North America's wildest deserts. In the vast expanse of the Grand Canyon, life clings to rock and sand, not only in movement, but also in stillness. Here, plants withstand the relentless sun, the thin air, and the scarcity of water, adapting in ways both subtle and spectacular. The towering saguaro cactus stands like a sentinel, its ribs expanding and contracting to store precious water, while its spines cast intricate shadows on the sun-scorched rock. Each flower that blooms at the top of its arms is an ephemeral marvel, opening for a single day to attract hummingbirds and nocturnal pollinators, directly linking the plant to the survival of desert life. Agave plants form dense rosettes along the canyon terraces, their waxy leaves preventing evaporation and storing moisture in thick, fibrous tissues. In spring, they send tall flower stalks toward the sky, revealing nectar-filled blooms that attract both bats and insects alike. Even the smallest pollinators play a vital role, ensuring that life persists in a landscape defined by extremes. Mesquite trees, with roots that sink deep into hidden aquifers, dot the canyon floor, providing shade to deer and small mammals, seeds to rodents, and shelter to birds. Their twisted branches sway in the wind, a reminder that even in stillness, the desert is alive with movement and interaction. Wildflowers burst into color during brief seasonal rains, covering the arid plateaus with bursts of yellow, violet, and crimson. Their delicate petals seem fragile against the harsh terrain, and yet they are crucial lifelines, attracting pollinators, sustaining insect populations, and in turn feeding reptiles, birds, and mammals. Life here is a chain, each link depending on the next. Even the tiniest seeds, carried by wind, water, or animals, hold the promise of renewal, sprouting in rock crevices or along riverbanks, a testament to resilience in the face of impossible odds. Close-ups reveal the intricate adaptations that make survival possible. The spines of cacti deter herbivores while channeling dew toward the base of the plant. Leaf surfaces glimmer faintly under the sun, reflecting light and heat. Root systems, hidden beneath sand and rock, are vast and efficient, extracting every last drop of moisture from scarce rainfall. Each plant is a fortress, a pantry, and a refuge, sustaining countless creatures that depend on shade, nectar, and seeds to thrive. Even in the shaded recesses of the canyon, plant life persists. Mosses cling to damp rock near seasonal streams, lichens cover the stone in muted greens and greys, and small shrubs sprout in microclimates where moisture lingers. These hidden oases sustain insects, amphibians, and birds, providing critical refuge during the harshest desert periods. In the Grand Canyon, plants are far more than a background landscape. They are the foundation of survival, the silent architects of the ecosystem, shaping where animals feed, hunt, and seek shelter. Each flower, each leaf, each spine tells a story of endurance and adaptation, a testament to the ingenuity of life in the face of extremes. Without these resilient organisms, the canyon's vibrant web of life, predators, prey, and scavengers alike, would unravel, leaving only the stark beauty of rock and sand. As the sun climbs higher over the Grand Canyon, the rhythm of the desert shifts with the seasons, dictating the movements of its inhabitants. Desert bighorn sheep traverse narrow ridges and cliffs, following ancient paths carved over millennia. In spring, they descend from the high plateaus to lower elevations, seeking tender grasses and water dripping from ephemeral streams. By summer, when the canyon floor blazes under relentless heat, they retreat to shaded recesses and steep cliffs, conserving energy and avoiding predators that roam the hotter, more exposed terrain. Mule deer undertake similar seasonal journeys. Their migration is guided less by rigid schedules than by instinct, by the scent of water, the presence of shade, and the promise of food. They move cautiously along the canyon's edges and terraces, pausing to search for cougars or coyotes. Every step is measured. The desert allows no lapse in vigilance. These movements are not random wanderings. but carefully calibrated responses to a landscape defined by extremes. The canyon's birds follow their own patterns. California condors glide across vast distances, carried effortlessly by thermal currents, moving between nesting cliffs and feeding areas where carrion is available. Smaller species, such as swifts and hummingbirds, follow the blooming of desert flowers, appearing in bursts synchronized with nectar availability. Even birds of prey adjust their hunting routes with seasonal changes, taking advantage of prey that descends toward water sources or riparian zones. Water is the lifeblood of the canyon, and its scarcity shapes every decision. Ephemeral streams, fed by snowmelt or sudden desert rains, create temporary oases, hubs of life where vegetation flourishes and prey gather. Coyotes and bobcats patrol these areas with keen awareness, knowing that every animal must eventually approach these vital sources. Bighorn sheep carefully time their visits to watering holes, balancing the need to drink with the risk of exposure. Even insects and small reptiles emerge from their hiding places only when moisture creates a brief window for foraging. Temperature extremes impose their own rules. During the searing midday heat, many animals retreat to shaded crevices, burrows, or caves in the cliffs. Nocturnal activity dominates for some species. Bats hunt insects, owls survey the canyon beneath a blanket of stars, and small mammals forage under the cover of darkness. Conversely, winter brings an opposite challenge. Cold waves at the canyon floor can push some species to lower elevations, while snow on the rim temporarily blocks access to usual feeding grounds. The Grand Canyon is a living mosaic of microclimates where cliffs, plateaus, and riparian corridors dictate movement and survival. Each seasonal migration, each calculated detour, each pause at an oasis is a testament to the intimate knowledge animals have of their environment. Adaptation here is not optional. It is the measure of life itself. Predators, prey, and birds alike adjust with instinctive precision, ensuring that even in the harshest desert conditions, survival remains possible. In this extreme landscape, every stream, every patch of shade, and every seasonal bloom shapes the intricate dance of life. Migration is more than movement. It is survival, strategy, and the eternal negotiation between environment, hunger, and the relentless will to endure. The Grand Canyon is a land of extremes, and nowhere is this more evident than in its climate. Storm clouds gather suddenly over the rim, darkening the sunlit cliffs with ominous speed. Thunder rumbles through the chasms, echoing off the stone walls with a deep, resonant growl. Wind lashes plateaus and canyon floors, sending dust into spirals of golden, twisting columns, while loose rocks rattle downhill through narrow ravines. Life here is shaped not only by the sun's heat, but by the fury of the elements. Each storm is a test of endurance for every creature. Flash floods roar through narrow channels with sudden, unstoppable force. Torrents of water surge over sand and stone, uprooting shrubs, carving new channels, and transforming the landscape in a matter of minutes. Desert bighorn sheep and mule deer retreat to higher ledges, hooves gripping slick rock as torrents sweep below. Small mammals and reptiles vanish into burrows, hidden crevices, and beneath rock overhangs, waiting for the danger to pass. Birds also adapt, seeking shelter in cliff cavities or dense brush, wings folded tightly against the wind. Heat waves are equally relentless. By midday, the canyon floor radiates searing energy, shimmering with heat mirages that distort distant cliffs. Reptiles retreat beneath rocks, their bodies pressed against cooler stone. Birds adjust their hunting schedules, shifting activity to early morning or late afternoon. Coyotes and bobcats pant heavily in the shade, resting and conserving energy until the sun dips behind a ridge. Even insects seek refuge, burrowing into sand or hiding beneath vegetation, emerging only when temperatures allow safe movement. Snow transforms the canyon in winter. The rim, blanketed in white, contrasts sharply with the still bare desert floor far below. Mule deer descend cautiously to lower elevations, grazing where snow has melted, while cougars move silently across icy ledges. Birds of prey exploit thermal currents differently, adjusting their flight paths as cold air layers shift. The canyon becomes a different world, severe yet vital, a place where seasonal changes dictate every decision. Dust storms sweep across open plateaus, reducing visibility to just a few meters. Each grain of sand strikes exposed skin and feathers alike, a constant reminder that the canyon's elements are as predatory as any animal. The sound of wind in narrow crevices creates a chorus of whistles, moans, and rattles, echoing eerily through the stone corridors. Life here demands adaptation, awareness, and resilience. Every sound, every gust, every shadow carries meaning. Nocturnal activity becomes a survival strategy. Owls, bats, and nocturnal mammals emerge as temperatures drop, taking advantage of cooler air to hunt and forage. Predators adjust their routines, prey recalibrate their vigilance. Even the smallest creatures, spiders, scorpions, desert mice, take part in this rhythm, emerging when conditions allow, retreating when danger or extreme heat returns. In the Grand Canyon, the climate is not a backdrop, it is a force that shapes life itself. Each flash flood, each dust storm, each heat wave or snow-covered rim dictates movement, behavior, and survival. In this desert of stone and sky, animals live on the edge, where the elements are as powerful, unpredictable, and relentless as any predator that stalks the cliffs. At the heart of the Grand Canyon, the Colorado River winds like a thread of silver, carving its path through rock and time. Its surface glimmers under the sun, reflecting the jagged cliffs and the endless sky stretching above. Yet beneath this shining ribbon lies a hidden world, teeming with life that thrives in the margins between stone and water. Here, the river is more than a force of erosion. It is the lifeblood of the canyon, sustaining a delicate web of creatures that depend on its currents, pools, and riparian edges to survive. Fish glide beneath the rippling surfaces, their scales catching sunlight in flashes of silver and gold. Native species, such as the humpback chub and the speckled dace, navigate the river's eddies and rapids, adapted to swift currents and rocky bottoms. Every movement is intentional feeding, avoiding predators, and negotiating turbulent waters that can shift from a gentle flow to white, foaming rapids in moments. Insects hatch in sync with the rhythm of the river, drifting with the current or skimming the surface, providing sustenance for fish, amphibians, and birds alike. Amphibians find refuge along the riverbanks, where moisture is abundant and temperatures are moderated by the cooling effects of the water. Frogs and toads emerge from their hiding places to hunt insects, their calls echoing softly in the morning mist. Their presence attracts snakes and predatory birds, adding layers of life to this fragile ecosystem. Even the slightest ripple in a pool can trigger a wave of activity, as creatures respond by instinct to both opportunity and threat. Riparian zones, green strips amid the arid canyon, sustain astonishing diversity. Cottonwoods and willows sway along the banks, their roots drinking deeply from the river while providing shade for deer, bighorn sheep, and smaller mammals. Birds abound here. Kingfishers dive with precision, wagtails and swallows flutter above the surface, and herons stalk the shallows, talons ready for a passing fish. Reptiles, from water snakes to lizards, bask on sunlit rocks, retreating into crevices at the slightest disturbance. These lush corridors are oases of life, sustained entirely by the pulse of the river. Seasonal fluctuations transform this world. Spring runoff brings rising waters that reshape the banks, deposit nutrients, and trigger breeding cycles for fish and amphibians. In the driest months, pools shrink, concentrating both prey and predators, intensifying the struggle for survival. Birds and mammals follow these changes, moving along the river in search of food and water, their routines closely tied to the rhythm of the Colorado. Even in its quiet stretches, the river's movement carries meaning. Water dripping over stones nourishes unseen mosses and aquatic plants. Currents carry seeds and nutrients downstream, connecting life across miles of canyon. Every ripple, every rapid, every gentle eddy sustains an ecosystem as complex and dynamic as the cliffs that surround it. The Colorado River is the hidden heartbeat of the Grand Canyon, a flowing sanctuary where life flourishes against all odds. In its waters, from darting fish to birds suspended in air, from drifting insects to silent amphibians, the pulse of survival beats in time with the canyon itself, reminding us that even in the harshest desert, life finds a way. As the sun sets behind the jagged cliffs of the Grand Canyon, a silence descends upon the desert. Shadows lengthen, stretching across plateaus, ridges, and canyon floors, until the light fades into a deep indigo. The air cools rapidly, carrying with it the scents and whispers of the night. Life shifts its rhythm. The heat retreats, and a new world awakens, governed by stealth, silence, and the subtle pulse of nocturnal survival. Owls glide silently along the edges of the cliffs, their wings beating in almost invisible arcs. Their large, unblinking eyes pierce the darkness, searching for small mammals moving among rocks and shrubs. Each talon is poised with lethal precision, a tool perfected to seize prey unaware of the predator circling above. Below them, bobcats slip through brush and crevices, their padded paws silent on the stone. Their amber eyes reflect the faint starlight, muscles coiled like springs, ready to pounce. Coyotes roam the canyon valleys in low, agile forms, their calls echoing eerily through the chasms, announcing their presence while concealing the movements of an opportunistic hunt. Smaller creatures emerge in this transformed world. Crickets chirp in a steady rhythm, creating a background symphony that resonates across the canyon floor. Scorpions patrol rocky outcrops, pincers raised and tails curved high, seeking prey with patient determination. Bats dart in erratic arcs against the night sky, catching insects mid-flight with astonishing precision, their wings slicing through the cool air as they navigate by echolocation. Even the smallest creatures, moths, beetles, and desert spiders, play a role in this nocturnal dance, feeding, avoiding predators, and sustaining the canyon's delicate web of life. Above, the night sky stretches with infinite clarity. Stars shine with extraordinary brilliance, untainted by city lights, and the Milky Way arches majestically over the canyon rim. The constellations seem reflected in the winding river below, mirroring a universe that feels both vast and intimately connected to the life teeming beneath. The darkness is not empty, it is alive, a vast stage for survival, a canvas where predator and prey, hunter and hunted, perform their nightly ballet. Nocturnal activity in the Grand Canyon is a lesson in balance. Predators take advantage of shadows and stillness, relying on stealth and sharpened senses. Prey species adapt, emerging cautiously or retreating into burrows and crevices, relying on instinct and speed to evade unseen dangers. Even the elements, the cool air, shifting winds, and the occasional distant thunder-shaped movement and behavior, reminding all creatures that survival is a negotiation with both nature and the night. As the darkness deepens, The canyon hums with a life that escapes sight, but reveals itself in sounds, movements, and fleeting flashes of gleaming eyes. From the silent descent of an owl to the tapping of a scorpion on the sand, the desert thrives under the cover of night. Here, in this extreme nature, life persists in quiet vigilance, proving that even when the sun sets, the Grand Canyon is never truly still. High on the sun-scorched cliffs of the Grand Canyon, the desert bighorn sheep moves with breathtaking precision. Each step is a study in balance and instinct, hooves gripping narrow ledges, muscles taut beneath tawny coats, and eyes fixed on the next ridge or plateau. The canyon walls, vertical and unforgiving, serve as both sanctuary and challenge, shaping a life defined by agility, caution, and endurance. Every rock and crevice becomes a stage for survival, every ascent a negotiation with gravity itself. From a distance, a small herd moves along a jagged ridge, males and females flowing in synchronized motion. The males are majestic and imposing, their curved horns sweeping back like ancient crescents, a visual testament to strength refined over years. The mating season transforms the cliffs into arenas of contest. Two males approach, heads lowered and horns angled forward. A thunderous clash echoes against the stone walls as they collide, hooves scraping and horns grinding, each impact a test of power, endurance, and will. Dust rises around them, blending with the canyon's first light, while females watch from nearby ledges, assessing the victor whose strength will shape the future of the herd. These battles are not mere displays, they are vital for survival. Only the strongest and most agile males earn the right to reproduce, passing on traits that favor cliff mastery, alertness, and resilience. The females, meanwhile, guide the herd with quiet authority, selecting feeding areas and water sources, teaching the young the precise routes that keep them safe from predators and dangerous falls. Every movement along the cliffs is a lesson in vigilance, every leap a blend of instinct and skill refined across generations. Water is scarce and always precious. Ephemeral streams and hidden pools become focal points for survival, and the bighorn sheep's ability to traverse steep terrain allows it to reach sources inaccessible to most predators. Predators, mountain lions, bobcats, and coyotes watch from below, calculating, waiting for a mistake. But the sheep's speed, agility, and awareness of ledges and shadows give it a crucial advantage, allowing it to vanish up vertical rock faces where few can follow. Even outside the mating season, the cliffs are a crucible. Even outside the mating season, the cliffs are a crucible. Young lambs learn to leap from ledge to ledge, their small bodies agile and light. Females gently nudge and guide them, teaching the instincts necessary for survival. The herd moves in silent harmony, grazing on sparse vegetation clinging to terraces, seeking shade in stone-carved recesses, pausing only when safety is assured. In the Grand Canyon, the desert bighorn sheep is a master of extremes. Its survival depends on balance, strength, and instinct. Each leap, each battle, each cautious step is a testament to the harsh perfection of this environment. Here, among spires of stone and roaring winds, life hangs on the edge, and the bighorn embodies the fierce, unyielding spirit of the canyon. In the shadowed cliffs and hidden canyons of the Grand Canyon, a predator moves unseen, silent as the wind and as lethal as the sun's heat. The cougar, or mountain lion, is a ghost of the desert, a master of stealth and strategy. Muscles ripple beneath tawny fur as it slips along rocky ledges, body low and deliberate, eyes scanning for movement, ears tuned to the faintest whisper of life. Every step is calculated, silent, precise, a dance of patience and power refined over millennia. The hunt begins with observation. From an elevated hiding place, the cougar watches a mule deer grazing on a lower plateau. Its tail moves with a subtle rhythm, signaling focus and readiness. Every flick of the prey's ears, every shift in posture is noted. The lion moves slowly, aligning with the shadows, using rocky outcrops and sparse vegetation for concealment. Its breathing is controlled, almost imperceptible, as it assesses the terrain, the distance, and the direction of the wind. A single mistake could alert its prey, and in this unforgiving landscape, mistakes can be fatal. When the moment arrives, the attack is a fluid explosion of speed and precision. Powerful hind legs propel it over obstacles. Claws extend to grip the rock, nails finding balance on uneven surfaces. The prey reacts instantly, a leap, a run, but the cougar's calculation and agility often give it the advantage. Ambush is the cornerstone of survival here. This predator does not rely on endurance, but on timing, patience, and perfect execution. Territory defines the cougar as much as hunger does. Silent scent markings on rocks, scratches along canyon walls, and latent signals across the landscape communicate dominance, warning rivals to keep their distance. The Grand Canyon's labyrinthine cliffs allow multiple individuals to claim distinct areas, though overlap is inevitable. Encounters are tense, brief, and often resolved without confrontation, an understanding of hierarchy written in fur, claws, and shadow. Beyond hunting, the cougar adapts to seasonal extremes. In the scorching summer, it seeks shade in recesses or crevices, conserving energy while remaining alert. During winter snows on the rim, it shifts its hunting routes, following prey to lower elevations where the snow has melted, relying on stealth and endurance to traverse icy ledges. Night amplifies its advantage. Its keen night vision allows it to patrol silently under starlight, while its prey must rely on limited senses, making the darkness the lion's domain. The juveniles learn the ways of the canyon under the guidance of their mother, practicing jumps, tracking movements, and traversing the cliffs with increasing precision. By the time they become independent, they embody the combination of patience, power, and cunning necessary to survive in one of North America's most challenging landscapes. In the Grand Canyon, the cougar is a symbol of lethal elegance. Its existence is intertwined with the rhythms of prey, the contours of the cliffs, and the pulse of the desert. Every movement is a lesson in survival, every shadow a potential advantage, every leap a testament to a predator perfectly adapted to the extremes of this magnificent wilderness. Across the arid plateaus and narrow canyons of the Grand Canyon, a different predator claims the desert as its domain. Coyotes, lean and cunning, move with a blend of grace and calculation. Their tawny coats blend with the sun-scorched rocks and scattered vegetation, a camouflage that allows them to stalk, hunt, and observe undetected. Alone or in packs, these versatile hunters embody adaptability, an essential trait in a land where survival depends on strategy, instinct, and cooperation. Pack dynamics define the success of the coyote. Family groups patrol territories with precision, their movements coordinated through subtle vocalizations and body language. A series of sharp barks and yips may signal the location of prey or alert companions to potential danger. Tail movements, ear orientation, and soft growls communicate hierarchy and intent, maintaining order and efficiency. When hunting together, coyotes employ a strategy worthy of experienced tacticians. One may drive prey toward others lying in wait, a living trap organized with patience and intelligence. Hunting is a study in timing and endurance. Coyotes often pursue rabbits, ground squirrels, and rodents, adjusting their approach to the terrain and the alertness level of the prey. Their eyes, sharp and perceptive, detect the slightest movement among sun-warmed rocks. Muscles flex with silent power as they leap over boulders, slip through brush, and change direction in sudden bursts of speed. Unlike solitary predators, coyotes rely on cooperation, combining endurance and cunning to outmatch agile prey that might escape a lone hunter. Scavenging is equally vital. Coyotes take advantage of opportunities left by cougars, bobcats, or birds of prey, making efficient use of remains. They traverse the canyon floor and cliffs with equal skill, navigating paths too narrow or dangerous for larger predators. Their intelligence and adaptability allow them to survive in the harshest conditions of the canyon, taking advantage of both abundance and scarcity with equal skill. Communication is fundamental to their survival. Dawn and dusk bring a chorus of yips and howls that echo across cliffs and ridges, a symphony that defines territory, coordinates packs, and strengthens bonds. These vocalizations travel for miles, bouncing from canyon walls to distant plateaus, a reminder that in the desert, every sound carries meaning and purpose. Coyotes also adapt to climate extremes. In the scorching heat, they rest in the shade, panting to regulate body temperature, venturing out only when conditions are favorable. Nocturnal hunting becomes more frequent during hot months, while winter may drive them to follow prey into sheltered valleys and river margins, adjusting their routes in response to snow and water availability. In the Grand Canyon, coyotes are the embodiment of versatility, agile, intelligent, and socially complex. They traverse cliffs, valleys, and desert plateaus with skill and precision. Whether coordinating a pack hunt, scavenging remains, or communicating across vast distances, they are survivors in a landscape where only the adaptable thrive. Coyotes demonstrate that in the extremes of the canyon, survival is not simply a matter of strength or speed. It is a matter of strategy, awareness, and relentless cunning. High above the Grand Canyon, the air is ruled by masters of precision and power, birds of prey, whose sharp eyes and effortless flight make them supreme hunters of the sky. Here, along cliff ledges and rugged outcrops, California condors, peregrine falcons, and red-tailed hawks claim territories forged over centuries, each species adapted to the extreme verticality and harsh climate of North America's wildest desert. California condors, with wingspans reaching nearly 3 meters, glide effortlessly on rising thermal currents, scanning the canyon floor for carrion. Their nesting sites cling precariously to cliffs, protected from predators and human disturbance, where eggs are incubated for weeks with vigilant care. Juveniles observe and learn, imitating the slow, deliberate flight of adults, perfecting the subtle wing adjustments that allow them to harness invisible currents across vast distances. Condors can travel hundreds of kilometers in search of food, yet always return to their nesting ledges, demonstrating a remarkable combination of endurance and navigational skill. Peregrine falcons are the embodiment of speed and lethal precision in the canyon. Nesting high on ledges, they watch cliffs and plateaus, their eyes tracking the slightest movement of birds or small mammals below. When they hunt, their stoop, an almost vertical dive, is a masterpiece of physics and instinct. With wings tucked, they accelerate to astonishing speeds, talons extended, striking prey with blinding efficiency. The migratory patterns of falcons are equally impressive. Many travel great distances according to the season, returning to their familiar canyon perches to breed and hunt. Red-tailed hawks patrol the canyon edges with measured grace. Circling on thermal currents, their keen vision detects the slightest stir of a rodent or lizard below. When they descend, wings tilt and tail feathers adjust in perfect harmony, allowing controlled dives to capture unsuspecting prey. Their nests, often built in hidden cliff recesses, provide shelter for chicks until they can master hunting on their own. Like condors and peregrine falcons, red-tailed hawks take advantage of both altitude and thermal currents to conserve energy while maintaining dominance over their territories. Smaller birds of prey, such as kestrels and owls, complement this aerial tapestry. Kestrels hover over open plateaus, searching for insects and tiny mammals, while owls move through the nocturnal canyon with silent wings, hunting rodents under the cover of darkness. Each species occupies its niche, whether by altitude, time of day, or prey selection, creating a stratified and dynamic ecosystem of flight and survival. Migratory patterns are intertwined with the canyon's seasons. Birds follow food availability, thermal currents, and reproductive needs, adjusting their movements to extreme heat, ephemeral streams, and seasonal prey. Nesting, hunting, and migration are inseparable facets of life here, revealing a sophisticated choreography that balances survival, reproduction, and territory. In the Grand Canyon, birds of prey are more than hunters. They are symbols of endurance, precision, and adaptability. Every glide, every dive, and every thermal sweep tells a story of survival, of instinct refined over generations, and of a life perfectly adapted to a landscape of extremes. From the soaring condor to the diving falcon, the canyon sky is a theater where evolution's most elegant and lethal performers command the air with grace and purpose. Across the sun-scorched expanse of the Grand Canyon, reptilian and amphibian inhabitants thrive in ways both subtle and extraordinary. Here, life is measured in scales, venom, and instinct, each adaptation a masterpiece of evolution tuned to extremes of heat, aridity, and predation pressure. Beneath the dazzling sun and among jagged rocks, these creatures move through a world where survival depends on speed, stealth, and the ability to disappear in plain sight. Rattlesnakes lie coiled among sun-warmed stones, their patterned scales blending seamlessly with the canyon floor. Each movement of their forked tongue samples the air, sensing vibrations, chemical trails, and the slightest motion of passing prey. A desert mouse or rabbit approaches, unaware of the predator waiting in the shadows. When the moment is right, the strike is instantaneous. Fangs inject venom that immobilizes, a precision attack perfected over millennia of hunting in this harsh terrain. The characteristic rattle warns larger animals to keep their distance, yet for the unwary, danger remains invisible until it arrives. Lizards scurry across sunlit rocks, their bodies flattening against the stone to blend with patterns of ochre and rust. Agile and alert, they hunt insects with rapid tongue flicks, vanishing instantly into crevices at the slightest disturbance. Many species take advantage of microclimates, retreating into shaded cracks during the midday heat, and emerging only when temperatures moderate. Their survival is a constant negotiation with the environment, a rhythm dictated by light, temperature, and the proximity of predators. Tarantulas and scorpions patrol the shadows with deliberate steps, nocturnal hunters adapted to take advantage of the cooler night. Scorpions arch their venomous tails with elegance and precision, pincers ready to capture prey or deter threats. Tarantulas, large yet methodical, sense vibrations through sand and rock, emerging only when opportunity aligns with safety. Their movements are slow but decisive, a calculated approach to a world where patience can mean the difference between life and death. Amphibians, frogs, and toads occupy temporary pockets of water, the that appear after seasonal rains or in hidden canyon pools. Their skin glistens with moisture, delicate yet vital, supporting respiration and hydration in the arid landscape. Nocturnal croaks echo in hidden recesses, marking territory or attracting mates, while their presence draws predators, linking them to the intricate food web of the canyon. Camouflage and behavior are the keys to survival. Scales reflect sunlight, shadows conceal bodies, and venom deters the unwary. Every movement is intentional. A pause in the sun, a dash toward shade, a slow advance toward prey, all executed with acute awareness of environmental signals. Both predators and prey are bound by these rules, a silent dialogue played out across stone, sand, and sparse vegetation. In the Grand Canyon, reptiles and amphibians are masters of survival. Their lives illustrate the delicate balance of adaptation, showing that even in a desert of extremes, evolution provides ingenuity, stealth, and power. Scaled, venomous, or water-dependent, these creatures demonstrate that survival is not merely endurance, it is precision, patience, and an intimate connection with a landscape as unforgiving as it is magnificent. Among the rocks, shrubs, and sun-scorched sands of the Grand Canyon, smaller mammals move with urgency, alertness, and remarkable ingenuity. Rock squirrels, desert rabbits, and tiny rodents traverse the landscape, their lives defined by the search for food, the evasion of predators, and the constant calculation of survival. Though small in size, these animals are key pieces of the canyon's ecosystem, shaping food webs and sustaining predators far larger than themselves. Rock squirrels dart across cliffs and terraces with surprising agility. Their bushy tails flick nervously as they leap from rock to rock, pausing only to scan for movement below. With wide eyes and upright ears, they detect the slightest vibration, the whisper of an approaching predator, or the distant cry of a bird of prey overhead. These sentinels of the desert balance risk and reward, snatching seeds, flowers, and insects with quick precision before retreating to crevices or burrows for safety. Rabbits, soft-furred and agile, move across open and sandy areas with equal caution. Their powerful hind legs propel them in sudden zigzag sprints, evading coyotes, bobcats, or hawks. During the midday heat, they remain hidden in shaded shrubs or narrow rocky recesses, emerging at dawn and dusk to feed. Their large ears serve as both radar and cooling system, rotating to capture predator sounds while dissipating excess heat in the scorching desert air. Desert rodents, including kangaroo rats and pocket mice, live primarily underground, their burrows forming a labyrinth of tunnels that protect them from temperature extremes and predation. At night, they emerge to forage for seeds and insects, moving across the terrain with lightning-fast reflexes. Its small size belies its crucial role as prey, seed dispersers, and participants in soil aeration. They maintain the subtle balance of the desert. Every movement is calculated. A pause can mean the difference between life and death. Communication among these small mammals is subtle but vital. Rock squirrels emit sharp and rapid alarm calls when danger approaches, alerting the group and also nearby species. Rabbits thump the ground with their hind legs, warning their peers of the presence of a predator. Even rodents exchange silent signals, vibrations transmitted through tunnels or the ground, warning others of invisible threats. The search for food is a constant negotiation with the environment. Seeds are collected, stored, or consumed immediately. Insects are caught on the move, and every encounter with water or vegetation is valuable. These small creatures often take advantage of microclimates, shaded rocks, burrows, or ephemeral vegetation to avoid the heat and conserve energy, emerging only when risk is minimal and sustenance is available. In the Grand Canyon, the lives of small mammals are a symphony of vigilance, agility, and resilience. Although predators loom threateningly, these creatures have perfected the art of survival through sharp senses, quick movements, and an intimate knowledge of their terrain. They are the silent pulse of the canyon, a testament to the idea that even in the harshest nature, life persists in remarkable, adaptive, and intricately connected ways. Beneath the towering cliffs and sun-scorched plateaus of the Grand Canyon, life thrives in miniature, in forms that often go unnoticed and yet are indispensable to the intricate web of the desert. Insects, beetles, bees, ants, butterflies, and many others play roles that are both delicate and powerful, shaping pollination, nutrient cycles, and predator-prey dynamics in ways that larger creatures cannot. Every flight, every crawl, and every buzz is a thread in the complex tapestry of survival in the canyon. Bees and butterflies flutter from cactus flower to agave flower, their delicate wings catching the sunlight as they carry pollen between plants. Their work ensures the continuity of flora in an environment where moisture is scarce and blooms are fleeting. The brief appearance of wildflowers triggers a burst of activity, with insects responding in perfect synchrony with seasonal rains. Each flower visited, each grain of pollen carried, is a silent act of survival, for themselves, for the plants, and for the herbivores that will depend on those seeds and fruits in the months to come. Predatory insects also shape the ecosystem. Praying mantises remain motionless among desert shrubs, waiting for unsuspecting prey to come within reach. Ants forage tirelessly across the rocky terrain, hunting smaller insects, collecting dead matter, and transporting nutrients to underground colonies. Their tunnels aerate the soil, their activities enrich the sparse desert surface, and their presence attracts lizards, birds, and small mammals that take advantage of this abundance. Even tiny spiders weave intricate webs along rock crevices, their silk gleaming in the sun as they trap unwary insects, sustaining themselves and, indirectly, larger predators. Insects are masters of adaptation. Many burrow into the sand during the day to avoid the scorching heat, emerging at dawn or dusk to forage. Their exoskeletons reflect sunlight, prevent dehydration, and provide defense against predators. Nocturnal species, including moths and beetles, emerge under the cover of darkness, guided by the light of the moon and stars, taking advantage of cooler temperatures and reduced competition. Water is both scarcity and salvation. In ephemeral pools, insects gather in swarms, feeding, reproducing, and sustaining species ranging from fish and amphibians to birds. These temporary oases become centers of life, attracting predators and prey alike. Each insect is a vital link in the chain of survival. Even in areas far from water, insects extract moisture from plants, dew, and the minimal humidity clinging to rocks, demonstrating remarkable ingenuity in a desert defined by extremes. The world of insects is also a language of survival. Vibrations, pheromones, movements of wings and antennae communicate danger, attract mates, or signal territory. Each interaction, no matter how small, reverberates through the canyon ecosystem, influencing herbivores, predators, and the plants they pollinate. In the Grand Canyon, insects are silent architects, scavengers, hunters, and messengers. They bridge the gap between flora and fauna, linking soil to sky, flower to predator, and microhabitat to the canyon as a whole. Though tiny, they embody the ingenuity of life in a harsh desert, demonstrating that in this extreme nature, even the smallest creatures leave a massive mark on the pulse of survival. Winding through the heart of the Grand Canyon, The Colorado River is more than a force that carves chasms. It is a lifeline that sustains a hidden world of aquatic and water-dependent life. Beneath its shimmering surface, fish navigate swirling currents, amphibians lurk among submerged vegetation, and countless invertebrates cling to rocks and banks. Here, in these fast-flowing waters and quiet eddies, survival is a delicate balance, shaped by the river's seasonal pulse, water temperature, and food availability. Native fish such as the humpback chub, accompanied by smaller species like the speckled dace, demonstrate remarkable adaptation. Strong, muscular bodies propel them through rapids and whirlpools, navigating rocky obstacles with precision. Schools move in unison, a fluid choreography that enhances survival as they search for food and avoid predators. Juveniles rely on calmer pools near tributary streams, learning currents and feeding habits under the watchful guidance of instinct. Every leap, every swift movement, every silvery flash in sunlit water is a testament to agility, synchronization, and the pure energy of life in a moving world. Amphibians are equally fundamental to the river ecosystem. Frogs and toads emerge from hidden pools or ephemeral wetlands, their glossy skin reflecting both moonlight and sunlight. Their calls echo along the quiet riverbanks, attracting mates and signaling territory. Predators, snakes, birds, and small mammals are drawn to these concentrations, creating a dynamic interaction between hunter and prey that shifts with tides, rain, and seasonal variations. Riparian vegetation transforms the river's edges into microhabitats. Cottonwoods, willows, and reeds provide shade, shelter, and food to countless species. Insects gather along these banks, becoming a vital source of sustenance for fish, amphibians, and birds. Even small mammals such as rock squirrels and desert rodents approach the water, balancing the need to drink with the risk of predation. The riverbank is a stage where the canyon's most vulnerable species gather, every movement measured, every behavior dictated by survival instincts. Seasonal changes define the rhythm of aquatic life. Spring snowmelt churns the river into foaming torrents, displacing some creatures while revealing new feeding areas for others. Summer brings lower water levels, concentrating prey and forcing predators to adjust their hunting strategies. In winter, colder temperatures slow metabolism, reduce activity, and drive species toward sheltered pools and slow-flowing eddies. Each stage is a test, demanding adaptability and keen awareness from all who depend on the river. Even the smallest currents carry life downstream. Floating seeds, drifting insects, and nutrients feed a wide range of species, connecting high cliffs with the deepest pools. The Colorado River is more than water. It is survival itself, a conduit of energy and sustenance that runs through the harsh desert. In the Grand Canyon, aquatic life is a testament to resilience. Fish, amphibians, and water-dependent species demonstrate that even in an arid and extreme nature, life thrives where moisture flows. The river is a heartbeat, pulsing through cliffs, canyons, and plateaus, sustaining a delicate balance between abundance and scarcity, predator and prey, survival and extinction. Beneath the towering cliffs and arid plateaus of the Grand Canyon lies a world of intricate connections, where every creature, plant, and current plays a role in maintaining the fragile balance of the desert. Here, survival is rarely solitary. Predators depend on prey, herbivores depend on plants, and aquatic life is intertwined with the broader fabric of terrestrial existence. The canyon is not simply a backdrop. It is an active participant in a web of life, its contours shaping interactions that ripple across ecosystems. The food chain begins with plants adapted to heat and scarcity. Cacti store water in spiny reserves, Agave flowers provide nectar to bees and hummingbirds, and mesquite trees drop seeds that sustain rodents and birds. These primary producers form the foundation, feeding herbivores such as desert bighorn sheep, mule deer, rabbits, and rock squirrels. Every bite, every buried or consumed seed sets in motion a chain of energy that sustains life far beyond the immediate moment. Herbivores, in turn, feed a range of predators. Coyotes patrol plateaus and valleys, coordinating in packs to hunt rabbits and rodents. Mountain lions stalk silently along cliffs, ambushing deer or bighorn sheep with precision. Birds of prey, peregrine falcons, red-tailed hawks, and California condors scan the canyon from above, using thermal currents to conserve energy while tracking movement below. Each predator plays a role in regulating prey populations, ensuring that the landscape is not overgrazed, while also shaping the behavior and migratory patterns of herbivores. Aquatic systems connect seamlessly with terrestrial life. The Colorado River and ephemeral streams sustain fish, amphibians, and invertebrates, which in turn feed birds, mammals, and reptiles along the banks. Insects move between water and land, pollinating plants and providing prey for birds, lizards, and small mammals. Riparian vegetation stabilizes soil, offers shade, and supplies nutrients to both aquatic and terrestrial food webs. Even seasonal variations, floods, droughts, and snow reverberate through the ecosystem, triggering migrations, reproductive cycles, and changes in hunting patterns. Symbiotic relationships abound. Pollinators and flowering plants depend on each other for reproduction and sustenance. Small mammals disperse seeds, cultivating the vegetation that protects them. Scavengers such as condors and coyotes recycle nutrients, breaking down carcasses that would otherwise go to waste. Even predators indirectly support herbivore populations, ensuring that weaker individuals are removed while stronger herds adapt and thrive. The ecosystems of the Grand Canyon are a delicate balance of survival and interdependence. Predators, prey, plants, and river life are caught in a dynamic dance, each movement triggering reactions across multiple levels of life. From the soaring condor to the burrowing rodent, from the rushing river to the smallest insect, every participant contributes to a web of survival shaped by energy, instinct, and adaptation. Here, in this extreme desert, ecological harmony is not static, it is an ever-shifting balance, a testament to the resilience of life in one of North America's harshest and most magnificent natural environments. The canyon reminds us that survival is never solitary. It is a story written in interaction, balance, and interconnection. The Grand Canyon, a masterpiece carved over millions of years, is no longer untouched. Human presence has left indelible marks, both protective and disruptive, on this extreme desert ecosystem. National park status protects vast expanses of cliffs, plateaus, and river corridors, offering refuge to bighorn sheep, condors, and many other species. Conservation programs have reintroduced California condors to the skies and stabilized populations of threatened mammals, demonstrating human potential for responsible stewardship when guided by knowledge and care. However, the impact is not uniformly positive. Tourism draws millions of visitors each year, trampling fragile vegetation, disturbing wildlife, and introducing noise and pollution into once silent canyons. Invasive species, often introduced unintentionally, compete with native flora and fauna, reshaping food webs and threatening survival strategies refined over millennia. Plastic waste, chemical runoff, and human-caused wildfires further strain the delicate balance of desert life, affecting aquatic inhabitants downstream. Despite these pressures, the Grand Canyon remains resilient. a testament both to the toughness of nature and the importance of thoughtful intervention. Conservation requires vigilance, research, and sustainable tourism practices, ensuring that humans are allies rather than adversaries in the canyon's story. Every decision, from protecting riparian zones to regulating visitor impact, reverberates through the ecosystem, affecting predators, prey, plants, and water-dependent species alike. The survival of the Grand Canyon is a matter of choice. Humans can preserve the wild nature of this extreme desert, protecting its interconnected web of life, or allow short-term exploitation to erode the delicate systems that sustain it. Conservation is not merely an ideal, it is the canyon's lifeline. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below, and if you want to see more, don't forget to explore the wild side in Israel.